Good evening, everybody. I hope everyone's had a good week and had a good 3-day weekend. I appreciate your flexibility at the Career Academy last week, and I just wanted to take a few minutes to go over what you should be working on and what you've got coming up in this class. So the stuff that you should be submitting this evening is from Topic 2. And there were really only 2 assignments that you needed to do. The first was a response to this reading about learning styles, and you can see that I've got a lot of reading to do this evening too. And the second was to submit your first differentiated lesson plan based on Gardner's multiple intelligences. So if you haven't done those 2 things, try and get those done as soon as possible. Coming up next week, we're going to be doing, it's going to be really similar. There's going to be a learning contract to create, and this is going to be based on some information that you can read up here about compacting contracts and menus. So we got a little bit of that when we were talking about assessment. We're going to go a little bit further this time because contracts really are a good way to kind of make compacting work. There's a little bit of difference with the forum in this module though. Because what you'll notice here is that you're going to take your contract, you're going to link it into your discussion post, and you're going to give 2 positive comments and 1 suggestion for feedback to a peer. And I would suggest you go through and read what all of your classmates post, because it's interesting to see some of the different ways that people go about creating these methods and materials to work with their students. And that's really it for this week and the week coming up. The things you should have on your radar is the unit that you are going to have to create for the end of the course. And what you should start doing is deciding what grade level you want to work on, what content area you want to work on, and whether you want to work with a group of people. And once you've kind of made those decisions, and you've still got another week or so to make those decisions if you want to take your time, but once you've made those decisions, if you'll send me an email, including the names of all the people that are working with you, or just your name if you are working alone, the grade level that your unit is going to be geared towards, and then the content area that you're going to be working in. Or if you're going to do a pull-out resource unit, you can just mention that as well. And remember, those sorts of units don't have to be quite as heavily content focused. They are more about enrichment. That being said, I have talked to a couple of the secondary content coaches, and they saw this as a really good opportunity to get some input on our actual curriculum portal units. And so I want to offer an alternative to that unit assignment. So instead of creating a unit from scratch, if instead you want to take one of our current curriculum units that's out on the portal, let's look at biology as an example. Notice that we've got this unit that's about the organization of life, I guess, and then there's an advanced one here where they've gone in and written the differentiation in the unit so that it's available for all teachers. But here in quarter 2, we haven't necessarily gotten to that point yet. And so instead of creating a unit from scratch, if you wanted to take one of our existing units in any of the content areas and write that advanced copy of it, write that differentiated up copy of the unit, we could come to an arrangement about how you might do that and how we would need to revise the rubric if you chose to do it that way. So if you're interested in doing that alternate unit work and actually revising one of our current curricular units, you can include that in your email, and I will get with you and the appropriate content coach to decide how that needs to look. The last thing I want to talk about is Google Docs. If you are going to use Google Docs this time around, I really need for you to create a folder. You need to name that folder with your name, a dash, and then methods and materials, so that I know exactly where you're putting all of your things. You're going to share that whole folder with me, and then you're just going to drop all of your assignments in the folder as you complete them. So in this case, the only things you'd really be putting in there would be your units, or your unit, your lesson plans, and I guess your shadowing experience. Because the forum posts have to be done in Moodle. If you do those in your Google Doc, it doesn't do other people any good because they can't go and comment on what you posted. So as always, if you have any questions, if there's anything you're concerned about as far as what's coming up or what we've already done, please don't hesitate to let me know.